Hey, welcome. Live production meeting. We're trying to get started, but hey, welcome, Minnesota Liberty. Today we are recapping what just happened in our convention this weekend. With me is Jason Cleats and Brian Paulson right now, and we're hoping to maybe get this revolving studio here a little bit to chat with our Madam Chair and see what she has to say and a few other folks, but so let's get started. Right, Brian won the Porcupine, the Libertarian of the Year, and rightfully so. Man, he's been kicking up some dust and making some waves in his neck of the woods in South Central Minnesota. So I'll let Brian take it away. Let's hear about exactly, where you got started. How did you get this, catch wind of some wrongdoing going on in your local area, and see maybe what folks that have an idea like, what do I got to do? So Brian, take it away.
Thanks, TJ. Yeah, it's funny. We'll talk about Owatonna here, that we're in for the state convention, and they got local stuff going on here. But yeah, I did get involved with the LPMN kind of first, kind of looking for give me direction and give me things to do. But I just want to kind of talk about how you guys can just do stuff yourself. Don't wait for someone to tell you to do something. And just kind of my story of how I got here today and what I'm doing. I was in New Prague, right? There's the school board coming up, and this lady's going around trying to get you to vote for her. And she said, "Hey, the school board is going to do a tax abatement for high density housing." Okay, well, that's really weird. Why is the school going to be, doing tax abatements for high density housing? So that's kind of the first thing that got me involved. And, not to go too in depth, but for tax abatements, for people that don't know, we pay the state claims, we pay our taxes to, for the state to provide us, or city or government to provide us services. That's why we pay these property taxes. So this company comes and says, "Hey, we're going to build this really big development," or whatever it may be, "and we just don't want to pay taxes for whatever, 15 years, 5 years, usually it's 15. And then the city will go, "Oh, you know what? This is great. They're not going to pay taxes. It's no cost to the taxpayers. Don't worry, guys." And then after, they'll pay taxes. Well, they're using city services, police or fire, whatever services it is. That's why we pay our taxes. They take our money, right? So they're not going to pay, and then that gets put on to the existing taxpayers. And then a lot of times, like Shutterfly and Shakopee as an example, they did a tax abatement. Guess what happens when the tax abatement's up? Boom, they're gone. It's vacant. And then a new company comes, and then the city gives them a tax abatement. So it's kind of a revolving door, but that's what initially got me involved. Then I researched, and I watched every city council meeting for the last year, and then you started seeing other stuff. You start seeing all these other things that the city's trying to do. So it's not just tax abatements. So then it was like, oh, well, I'm going to start going to these city council meetings. And then it evolved from this tax abatement to, you can look up lots of stories where New Prague made the news because they illegally sold bonds to fund a police station. City of 8,000 people, and the cost, like the land, the building, and everything included, it's like a $12 million police station for a city of 8,000. Okay. So I did a petition, and I gave it to the city to have us to be able to vote on it. And we can kind of go into this a little bit more, but there's a loophole right now in the state where these same financial company will go around and they'll have the cities do these extravagant buildings. And then if citizens petition, they just send it to their economic development authority, which is appointed by the city council. You cannot petition them. So you have no way to stop that. They will sell the bonds, and then they'll rent it to the city. That's the loophole, is they rent it to the city. So the taxpayers still get screwed. So I'm trying to stop that at the state level right now. There's a bill. So I'm hoping to get that through. Maybe not this session, but it's getting some traction. And then on top of that, then we've got all these flock cameras and this technology that are in these cities of tracking. And this is before ICE. Before all that started, I started looking into that stuff. And people think about COVID, they think of everything as a red and blue issue, right? Well, it's always going to be used against you, whether it's tracking people from states that are getting abortion to it's if you're going to be traveling to see your grandma during COVID when there's lockdowns, right? Like these cameras they'll find when you're going to political organizations, right? They're AI enabled and they will track and figure out who you're friends with. Oh, Bill and Brian drove past this flock camera together, and then a month later they drove past another one. Now we're connected. Yep. And this is a very, very invasive camera system that I hope that we can get some traction. But you know what? All this stuff, I didn't ask. I wasn't told. I just started looking. You just start looking at your city, and I guarantee you they are doing something, whether it's tax abatements or funding very large projects or technology that's way too invasive. Just go out there.
Man, those tax abatement, you really explained it well, because that's something that is really not on anybody's mind, because when you unleash it, it sounds like an incentive. Hey, there's going to be money coming into our town, and this is what we want to do, incentivize a company to come in. And yes, we think taxation is theft, so let's not tax them. But what you recognize is they're just raping it and taking what they can, just like any democracy, right? The incentive is to take whatever you can while you're there and then take off. And that's what seems to be happening, right? Go ahead, Jay, got something to say?
Yeah, and looking at the town that we're in currently, we're in Owatonna, Minnesota. They're in a similar situation. What is it, a
$65 million police fire station? Yeah.
And we're going to have Sarah jump on here. Sarah, do you have your phone?
Well, Brian, you're talking about how you're actually going to take off from here.
Yeah, I'm literally going to be leaving from here, and they have their last day of their petitioning, and I want to catch up with them because I went through the whole process. Right now, they're in the petition, and the next steps I know, and the reason I know that is it's the same financial company. It's the same one. All the cities have the same company, the same builder, contractor, right? They're all in the same cities, and they have the same playbook where they hop from city to city to city, whether it be Farmington or Northfield or New Prague, or all of them. They just city after city, and then, hey, you guys need, it's like going to a car dealership and you ask them, hey, do I need a new car? Of course you do. Right? So these cities will hire these developers and these engineering companies. They'll say, hey, take a look at our buildings. What do you think? Oh, well, we think you need everything. We think you need a new city hall, a new fire station, what else are they going to say? And then the city council says, oh, well, the professionals said that we need to get a new police station. And they say it's this one right here, $65 million.
Yeah. And honestly, again, people just go on with their day-to-day life. They're so busy with their family, which rightfully so, right? They don't get the time to scratch the surface like you did, Brian. And man, you got a family, you got a wonderful family too, and all kinds of stuff that you're busy with, and your business and your own thing. And even if it's just a couple minutes or a couple hours out of the week that you spend a little time to get involved and pay attention to what these people are doing with the money that they take from us. And then all the incentives that they start and think they create and make themselves look so good and pat themselves on the back for what they accomplished. And then the result is 10 years later, it's this. And no one looks forward one or two steps. It's look at what I got or look what I did. And so, we're all fed up with this. And I'm really happy you're doing what you're doing, Brian, where you're at and everything. I thank you so much for hey, and as you blaze that trail, man, other folks get to see and be like, right, Brian's doing this. I mean, and not taking anything away from you, Brian, but I'm saying you're just another guy just like all of us. And it's amazing how much of a difference one man can make in just enlightening folks, because everybody believes this. Okay, not everybody. There are plenty of folks that believe that the state should take stuff from us and do this kind of stuff. But majority of folks think, hey man, I work for what I get. Why the heck do you gotta just get what you don't work for? I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but I'm gonna send this link to Sarah now, but go ahead and keep going.
I'll kind of wrap up here with this. Just focus on one thing, right? Just your city, maybe it's your school board, right? Or county, depending on where you live. But it's difficult because you have so many taxing authorities over you, and you have special economic zones, and like if you're in the cities, you have the Met Council. right? Like you have all of these. So just try to pick one, right? And I did the city council, right? School board, yeah, I have 3 boys. I have another one on the way. So that is important to me. But, you just got to pick one and learn it, right? Invest a little time into watching some of the meetings. And then every meeting you can pick up when you know that they're planning something. Like you will see the meeting minutes and you'll say, oh, I know they're setting up, they're teeing up. The police chief in New Prague just did a presentation and you can tell that he is setting up to ask for an expansion of more officers, right? Oh, we have more calls. Well, the severity of the calls actually went down, but they have more calls, right? And then you go to the newspaper and it's like, oh, they helped a turtle cross the road. I'm not joking, right? It is literally things like that. And it's like, oh, that counts as a call? Where you look at the violent crime, New Prague is the 6th safest city in Minnesota. We're the very safest cities. And we had a very old police station. Somehow we needed to get a new one. Otherwise, what? And then they're like, oh, this will retain and, get good cops, right? Then the new station's not even done being built and they had another cop resign. So it's just pick one thing and just pay attention. You don't even have to go to the meetings. You can watch them online. Most of them are streamed. Right. So just, and maybe you don't watch it live, right? You can watch it after on the weekend or at night. But just pick one, pay attention, and try to keep up on the meeting minutes. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate everything you do.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. So we got this revolving door going on. Did you get the link set up?
I did.
Yeah, we have Sarah
Sanchez
Sanchez that's going to be coming in to speak to us. Sarah is down here in Owatonna joining the fight against this same issue that Brian was fighting against up in New Prague. So we should have Sarah joining momentarily. Also, some of the guests that we are looking to have on, Madam Chair herself, Rebecca Whiting, the treasurer, Joey, our endorsed candidate for auditor, Charlie Kuklins, is going to join us at some point.
CR Kuklins.
Yeah.
So
we don't have to whisper. We're live. We're backstage. Whatever. We're cool.
I don't want to give out my email, my personal email to everybody.
That's a good idea.
Smart move. I respect it.
Email, if you're going to email me, email the campaign account.
We should have done this, before we went live, but we just wanted to go. So
yeah, we wanted to get you live on the ground.
This
is how we roll.
I do have a tripod. Actually, I put it in the car. Darn it. Let me run out and get it.
Yeah, take your time. We're here for a while.
We're gonna run a wrap-up show, and we want to get people's thoughts on things, especially local on the ground.
If you see my would-be husband, you can send him this way too. Oh, he's in there. There he is.
Yeah, he can come on in.
There he is. Okay. I think I've got this.
Everybody can welcome Sarah to our broadcast.
Adjust it a little bit.
We got a pretty big comment here. We got Trevor watching and on the Facebook.
Welcome, Trevor.
Yeah, he's not. I'm trying to read the whole thing, but.
Oh, mute your mic.
Yep.
Actually, I can mute her.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. So Trevor, talking about winning local races and being active locally is very important because that's how you change a culture, right?
Yeah.
And politics is downstream of culture, and you really just have to be active in your hometown and show the folks, just blaze a trail like Brian's doing. And like Sarah, we're going to talk about Sarah here in a minute too, where just do it. Just get out there and do what you know it's right and get her done and allow folks to say, well, they're doing it. And we all know it's right. And they're good people too, where they're not hurting anyone or taking their stuff. So, so welcome, Sarah.
Hello.
Thanks for sitting down
Good to see you
with us.
guys. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's been a work in progress for a while to be on video. I have been with the party for, well, technically 5 years. Couple years that either we weren't able to meet, things like that, but been with the party for a while. So it took a little bit to get here. So,
Hey.
but I've always wanted to.
You're here now, and that's what matters.
Yes. Yep.
No, I'm
Yep.
happy we all got to be under the same roof this weekend, and it's awesome to have this convention camaraderie.
That's
Whether
right.
we got some nerds in this group that love what they do and do the things. Hey, I use nerd as a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Trust me, it really is.
I
I
was gonna say,
aspire to be a nerd.
a nerd-
That's-
A nerd is one who knows things. I feel like a geek is one who's, when you're a nerd, you're informed.
Absolutely.
You're an informed geek.
Right,
So-
absolutely, totally agree. And our nerds are the best, man. And
Yeah.
making some changes to the stuff that nobody really wants to care about. Full circle, similar to what we were just talking about, the stuff that happens in the city councils and stuff that we really don't want to take time out of our day to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Guys like Joey and Clinton did the work, and Bill.
Oh yeah.
That kind of work that we don't really care. Honestly, I'm gonna say care. And I don't want to take up all this time here, but here's the thing is, especially that last part of, we voted for quite a change in the bylaws, right? In
The platform.
We did, yeah, platform bylaws, yep.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is where I'm running as an independent candidate.
Yeah.
My belief here now, politics going forward, is I'm not into this collectivism party stuff, okay?
Right.
I dig what we do here. I love this camaraderie. I enjoy our mechanism to get folks together and do active local community stuff.
Right.
We're a political party. We are here to get folks elected, right?
Yes, that was one of the biggest things we said.
Right. This is, what is our objective? Primary objective, secondary objective, whatever you want to say. Here we are trying to change the world, man, because we all know the world is pretty effed. Although you can go outside and touch that grass and it's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sunny day today, so we're gonna say the world is effed. At the same time, we know it's not, right? So we can be optimistic about some things that are happening, and at the same time, be pissed off like enough about some things that are happening.
Mhm.
The experiences of the federal government, what's going on with the wars and stuff like that, which, that was another part of the convention this weekend. We had Scott Horton and Jake Duesenberg come and speak, right? Jake spoke first, and he mentioned a lot. Well, I'm sure Scott's going to say a lot about the war, right?
Yeah.
Which he did, right? Anyone that's watching this likely knows Scott Horton and
Scott took us to school for a good
couple hours.
Yeah, it was
hours.
darn near 2 hours.
He went an hour and a half over his time, and of course, we're going to let Scott speak. When Scott talks, we listen. He gave us a great speech, which is out and available on the LPMN live stream from second session last night. So if you want to see Scott speak, it is available for you.
It is a perfect mini summation of what the heck is going on, because we are being told over and over a story, and not only is it fabrication, but it's also this little mini snippet of something that they have been doing for 70 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just, it's like we talk about 9/11. It wasn't just that the plane hit out of nowhere, just out of the sky. There were so many things behind it. If you want that snippet to be able to really see, and kind of almost, I thought about this. I'm going to rewatch it and just kind of write out some dates, times, names, and just be able to look at that. That is without having to pay for some subscription or someone's Substack. That is a great way. Go back to that, see our day one convention video, and you'll get to be able to get a little mini course, a mini Scott Horton a course for free. So it'll be great to just rewatch probably a couple of times, because he goes into some depth.
He really did. He kind of wrapped up that whole enough already and then some, right? Because enough already ends at one point.
Yep.
Because
And
they
then
published the book.
But then the current
The
day.
war on terror has
Yep.
not stopped.
Nope.
So this is the culmination,
Yep.
honestly. With stuff that Scott and Dave and everybody's been saying, Iran is the
Yes.
end of the mission of the war on terror, it's just,
Mhm.
It won't be.
oh no, well, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Where part of me thinks, hey man, is this a way that we're just finally going to get the F out of the Middle East now? As far as, you know, it depends on who you listen to. All our bases in the Middle East are wiped out. All the critical infrastructure that we have built up, with many bases that I've visited, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait.
Yeah.
I've never been into Iraq or Iran, but a few in Afghanistan as well. I'm not even sure, you know, we don't occupy Afghanistan anymore. The Taliban is back there, so, you know, they already didn't have to destroy the infrastructure to take over.
Right. Trillions of dollars to replace the Taliban with the Taliban.
Yeah.
20 years.
And here we go.
Let's
like,
replace the Taliban. Yeah, that was great use of our money.
The IRGC. Is that really what we're going to do? And same thing in Venezuela. It's just like when we all know when we became the empire, right? This all happened with the central banks and right before World War I, and this was the ball set in motion. But this current stack, you know, in the Middle East, where Scott talks about this war on terror, was quite a neocon shift back in the 90s, in the late 80s, where these liberals, these Democrats, all of a sudden see how profitable and lucrative war is. So hey, let's get into this. And wonderful lesson, like Sarah said, wonderful lesson by Scott Horton. A good 2-hour, you know, this is right off the top of his head kind of stuff that he talks about. He knows all this stuff. And he was hanging out with us last night. It was really cool, man. We're all kind of star-studded or starstruck with Scott Horton hanging out with us, and it's a really cool thing. And also Jake Duesenberg, I don't want to leave him out, man. Really,
Jake had a great speech.
He really does. Hey, what he said. Republicans don't want to hear me talk, and we're welcome him, right? I welcome anyone who's ready to recognize the idiocracy that we recognize, right? Whether it's the party, you know, he might be saying, hey, I'm still affiliated with the Republicans. I believe we can have small L libertarians in the Republican Party. And I don't disagree, man. Drew Roach and a couple other guys, I know their names, but I'm not even going to say them. I will give Drew Roach a credit. That man is totally a spitfire that is
Drew is
to be reckoned with, man. I dig his passion. And I hope he's honest. I don't know him well enough, but
I think it's that idea that we need to find and work together and have those allies where we can, and to be able to say maybe we are too liberty minded for the Republicans, perhaps. I think that you know, they talk about limiting government, and they talk about, but we know where their true intentions lie. Well, because we're out liberating the Republican all the time, but you do want to move, you know, with the tide wherever you can. So we do want to create those partnerships, but then also call out what needs to be called out, because it's honestly any true relationship, any true relationship, working relationship or otherwise, you need to be able to call someone out if they're not aligned, or if they're not maybe aligned to what they said they would do, or whatever it would be. You need to be able to call that out as well. But really bringing also home to us that idea that we do still have that power. We have the power to elect our officials. We have that power to petition, right?
Maybe.
we do. And we have the power to petition. We have the power to go and face, like we're talking about, going to our city council meetings, going into working meetings, and being able to be a presence and be a voice. We do have that. And when enough people show up to those meetings, when enough people knock on doors, when enough people make phone calls, you know, that is a thing. We talk about it over and over and over. You don't have to be one person making 1,000 phone calls. If we could get 10 of us making 100,
divide that labor a little bit.
If we could get, if this is my thing, 100 of us who made 10 maybe calls, phone calls, emails, whatever they may be, text messages a week, just 10, maybe less. If there were more of us making 5 in a week, you could make one call, maybe less a day.
That kind of stuff.
And isn't that something?
Absolutely. If there's something behind it, like, we're doing a Defend the Guard
Right.
rally or something like that,
Yes.
it's much easier to have a motivation, like similar to the door knocking, the petitioning.
Yes.
That's huge this weekend too, where we're drilling it down, right?
Yeah.
Rebecca, Charlie, and Chip are all running state races. Each one of them need 2,000 signatures from the state. I'm running my house race and I only need 500, but I only get my district to get those signatures. I've been successful the last 2 cycles. Rebecca was successful the last cycle.
Yeah, very.
And man, I'll tell you what, we only had a handful of volunteers relative. Rebecca had quite a few. A lot of folks really stepped up last year, or in 24, got her on the ballot. One of the big things that really has hampered us, and we all recognize it this year at convention, is that the national convention is on Memorial Weekend, which is right in the middle, or it's every the first weekend of our petitioning period this year. So the thought is that we want to limit our delegates to LNC, right? We want to motivate folks and get out there to knock on doors and petition. We need to get 6,000, well, at least 2,000 people to vote to sign on 3 petitions. At least, right? And the goals are much heftier than that because we need cushions, because we are the third party that is going to be ridiculed and scrutinized is the word for those. We always expect it. We, haven't had much the last few cycles. It's been pretty good, right? We knocked it out of the park, but we haven't got any pushback from the SOS.
Yet.
Hey, welcome, Charlie. Charlie's in the studio now.
Woo!
How's it going?
It's really a party now. Look at that. Look at us. Look at
One
us
of the
go.
only auditor candidates that doesn't have a DUI.
Oh, yeah, how's that?
Bravo.
I told on a Facebook post, I said, look, I'm going to reserve my comments on the DUI until after the Libertarian Party convention this weekend, just because Murphy's Law would have had me passed or something. So,
Yeah. Well, especially because Owatonna knew we were here, I made sure of that via social media.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for having me on. It was a great convention, and I'm looking forward to what we've got coming up this year, and everybody that's running for office and or taking action and assuming a position on your local city councils or whatever commission. So those are absolutely things that need to happen, and I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot more people taking action within their local governments throughout this year. We see it through all the initiatives that are coming up from, your data centers across the state of Minnesota, or you had Brian Paulson on earlier with the flock cameras and the initiatives that are getting passed through without public knowledge, without vote. And so you're going to see a lot of more grassroots interaction with your town boards, your city councils, and all the way up to your county boards and eventually to the state. So that's kind of what, where we're starting with everything. It culminates into what I consider my race for state auditor, right?
State positions, yeah.
And so it falls in line. My whole goal is to arm the people that are taking action within their local governments with the data to support those actions, right? To say, hey, we can't spend this money. We can't do all the things that you want to do. We can only do the things that we have to do at this point. And so what I'm proposing is essentially all municipal financial transactions, from the county to your city, to your town board, to your school district. All financial transactions are publicly available via APIs, so application programming interfaces, and anybody could download that information and bring it directly to their city councils or their town boards to take action with.
Doesn't it seem like that should already be the thing?
Yeah.
I mean, even real time with the technology we have right now, they can real time clock camera the hell out of us, right? But let's
Getting our
hold up
information.
the $65 million that we want to put up in for our police station.
So
Mhm.
speaking of city council, ever thought of running yourself, Sarah?
Actually, I have, and that is, I was actually thinking about that too. When you talk about, withholding all comments until after the convention. But yes, that is my big aspiration for this year, is to be running for city council, which again leads us back into that idea that this is where we're affecting change. This is really where we're able to utilize the information, like Charles is talking. We can actually utilize those systems and be able to make effective decisions, be able to come not only with ideals, but to come with information. We're talking about geeks and nerds. I can be a geek all day long and about the fundamentals and how I feel or what I like or blah blah blah, but I can be a nerd with some information and being able to back it up and have the information to move forward with and make the decision with. And I think that's one of the things again that we forget from time to time, is that all you need is just a bit of a desire and a good amount of information.
Well, that
just having the information and being able to move forward with it.
Yeah, and that desire is the impact, right? Is you just kicked off by, damn, how the heck did I just get fined for this or whatever, right? You got a little impact that just seems so ridiculous. Like, wait, the state does this? Because a lot of us can live our life without ever knowing what they're getting away with.
Right. Yeah,
Like you.
But the thing is too is, I always tell people, I understand not everybody has time to. So when we have a city council meeting, the packets that are emailed to those who would like them, those packets for those meetings of information they've pulled together, different, whatever they could be. There's different specs, projects that they're looking at,
right.
All engineer, whatever, from all different parts of the city body. Those packets can be 150 pages long. I know that the public doesn't want to read through those. So I always tell people, I'm like, that's why I'm here to be a loudmouth and let you know, okay, yeah, I did. Do I read, am I able to read every single, page, word for word? No, but I'm able to read through, understand what is this for? Where is it coming from? Be able to, okay, who okayed this? What is the intent on this proposal, and be able to share that information with people. And I think that, again, we're talking about transparency, which is a huge thing that Charles is fighting for us. That's what TJ is fighting for. That's what Becca's fighting for, what Chip is fighting for. We're fighting for transparency and information and liberty, being able to bring you the option and the information to make decisions for yourself. That is the biggest game. Whatever, our constituents want, if that's your personal decision, you should be able to make that, but have the right information to make the informed decision.
Oh, you're giving me chills.
Yeah.
That's really
right
that is the name of our game here right now. And without infringing upon yours.
Man, and
Exactly.
in charge of your own body,
right?
Which means your own property,
yes,
and all that.
Yes, and you can't make those decisions, and you can't. It gives you a stronger leg to stand on when you do make those decisions, because you have the information to back yourself up, and that is really what we're all here to do. So I think that's one of the cores that I think is striking with a lot of people too. This is a time where people are so sick of seeing through tinted windows. They're so sick of someone telling them, yes, this is what we're going to do, without being able to see into the window, and I think that is huge. That's why, going to, or at least, asking the questions, finding sources of information. If you can't get to a working meeting in your local municipality, I understand. but maybe having, yep. Yep, that is kind of how we feel. But but being able to get that information from someone, you know, creating maybe a cohort or a team that you can say, okay, you know, I went to this one, so I could tell you what's going on. Having a group that you can share with, you know, and maybe not everybody goes to every meeting, but maybe you take, you know, one person goes, you know, maybe sometimes they're like twice a month. If you have a group of maybe 4, 5, 6 friends, you could rotate and each, you know, go to one. And then you don't have to go to one every month or every 2 weeks. You know, you're going every 6 weeks or something like that.
I think that's important. Plus, you've got people to have that conversation with.
Right.
So
right.
So now you guys are on the same page, and you're like, hey, maybe we switch off, and maybe we have, you know, we'll sit at the bar and have a beer or whatever.
And like our founding fathers did.
Have that conversation, right?
Having those conversations at the pub.
I think that's the point of it is over at least the last 20 years, right? The way I've always felt is like we've gotten into this malaise of trusting what's happening at the government level.
Right.
And I think that ethos is shifting from a trust aspect to we need to verify that we're actually doing the right things.
Trust but verify.
And I appreciate the trust but verify, and I'm not even sure we trust anymore. Is the problem, right?
That is the problem.
So we have to verify that the things that we are that we uphold from a freedom, a free society is happening at the lowest levels of government. And
the trust is us. We
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
trust our fellow neighbors. That's where the trust is.
It's a mutual respect almost, right?
And
It's
that trust
a better
has
way
been willfully broken in we the people by design. We the people have been defeated. We the people have to restore trust amongst we the people.
So the
right.
courage, what Sarah's talking about is getting to these meetings. It can be intimidating for many folks that are not into this, but you know, folks like Brian and Sarah and folks like us are blazing that trail to, hey, we're just regular folks that are trying to get involved.
Yeah.
Because once it's too late, that 100-page packet has got that data, and you want to say, wait, I want to ask this question. Oh, it's already passed.
Yeah.
It's already done, and there's nothing you can do about it.
But the thing is, too, is I'm the first one to say that my life can be a wildfire at times. Nobody has a wonderful backstory. We are meant to have a crazy backstory. We're meant to have that challenge in our life so that we can then bring that and actually do something with it. So if you say, well, I can't do anything. Look at me, I'm a mess. How can I do anything? That's the whole point, is that we, no matter our mess, no matter our education level, no matter our ability to speak or not speak, or you know, even if you can take the very back corner seat, pick up your packet and just listen. And even though you're sitting in the room, your presence, just sitting in the room, just your presence means everything. Because when those city council members, when your legislative body sees you in that room, that speaks. And that's all we need.
That's you holding them accountable for their actions, which is what they expect of you. It's not mutually exclusive if we don't hold them accountable.
Right. And I think that's kind of where we also get off too, is because we get off course in that we think it has to be this grand work that we're doing or something. And it's like, no, you ask questions. I'm honestly, that was what we did at the beginning of our country. We had conversations. I always said we had conversations at a pub and had that conversation. And now everybody, when we conversate, and I'm not putting anybody down here, watch whatever you want to watch. But we're sitting here having conversations about the dang Kardashians or some housewives of something or some celebrity bull crap or we're having
Sports
conversations.
balls, man. I've been a big
The-
fan of
Hey,
I love me some MMA.
Sure.
I will watch any UFC fight I possibly can, but we are allowing all the circuses to entertain us instead of and distract us instead of having a conversation. Go watch the fight, go watch the game, go watch your show. But but also being able to share in with or the friends and hey, what because it is going to, more than anything, it's going to affect your budget. It's going to affect your bottom line. It's going to affect your wallet one way or another. And so having a conversation and taking that time is going to be what means everything for your family.
Well, I think, sorry to jump
Yeah,
in.
no, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry,
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I mean, the reason that we are able to participate in those types of events is because we do live in a free society, because
Yes.
we did have the founders set up a society where we didn't have to worry about, going up. And I think we've taken advantage of it to this point. I think we've gotten into this point where we take our freedom for granted, right? And then we just assume that it's always going to be there, and it's not always going to be there. So we've seen it devolve in other countries. We've seen other places fall apart, and it would be a tragedy for the last free country for that to happen here. And I think it was is it Thomas Jefferson that said the only true repository of a free society is the people's will. I can't remember. Let me pull this up real quick.
More or less.
Let me pull this up. Okay. An informed citizenry is the only true repository of public will.
That is it.
So
The
I
informed,
messed it up the first
the
time.
informed citizen.
Informed
Exactly.
citizenry. So participate in your local municipality. Participate in the things that the foundation of our society, right, is what you need to participate in to ensure that your children and your children's children can have the things and continue to participate in the freedoms that we take for granted at this point.
We always think about, you think this country is unlike any other country, and everybody's, I think some of us are grateful, but we're able to, again, like you said, sit back into the lavishness of our lifestyles. We're able to walk into our homes, no matter what they look like, and turn the light on, run the water, turn the TV on, or open up your dang iPhone. I finally have one of those, so I can say that too now. Oh my gosh, I have an iPhone where we can open up our iPhones and have and be able to use whatever social media site we want. We can use whatever browser we want. We can look up the information that and the sites that we want, because we have been given these freedoms, these rights. But we've been birthed into this thing, but it wouldn't have ever been possible if the people weren't having the conversations and weren't making a decision and weren't doing something, even if it's a few minutes. And if you want to be able to open up whatever browser you want, if you want to be able to open up whatever website you want.
Hell, if you want to actually address your rulers, right?
Yeah.
In open and say whatever you want to them. That's the benefit of living in this country.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry. There's
no,
not
it
a lot
absolutely
of
is.
countries that have the right of free speech that we do.
Yeah.
Try that in Canada and see what happens.
Yeah.
Try that in North Korea and see what happens.
Well, you go to Mexico. I always think about and I love my familia out there, but I have we see people dancing in the middle of the street with a Mexican flag, and but if you were to go to Mexico and dance in the middle of the street with an American flag and say, "Woo, America's wonderful! Woo, America, America, America," you would get in trouble for that.
Well,
That boggles my mind. I'm just like,
it's actually a lot of that nationalism is really ingrained in America a lot. Actually, probably the Americas.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Where Mexicans, there's a giant Mexican flag flying in Tijuana right on the border, that you can see from miles away in California. So yeah, there's some nationalism as well.
Yeah.
And that culture, yes, isn't about to let you take their culture down while you're in my hometown. But here, we've got to be tolerant and all, which, okay, I am. Because you know what? When I see somebody that wants, because what's the level of where we're going to trash America, right?
Yeah.
I'll say it just like Dave Smith said it. We're the world's worst terrorism organization in the world, right? So, but I'll still gladly fly the American flag because I'll fight for it, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, what Scott Horton said last night, how
Yes.
you don't need to conscript an army if there's a just fight. Man, I will absolutely get in my boots at 46 years old and go fight for a just fight.
Yeah.
But none of that shit's just. And once you realize everything that I used to, these things, they're all lies. And so, they truly informed the mass media that we have now, right? There's not just 3-4 news channels that give you that information, right? So you have to decide. You have to decide for who is
people that own all the mass media.
Yeah.
There's that, and Sarah's talking about that choice of where we want to go. It's a little bit, to me, it's a little bit of a false choice that we think we have, right? Because if there was a true free market, Charlie would have the app that we want to go. Charlie would develop this stuff, right? These things would be. We would have the free market. We'd have those flying cars. Elon just posted something the other day that we've been saying for years. Was it Elon? I don't know. If we had a real true free market, we would have these flying cars. We would have so much stuff. If we had a true free market where, hey man, folks are going to make mistakes. Folks are probably going to die when they try to build the Hoover Dam or something marvelous. You're going to have incidents. And the only way you learn is from making mistakes. We truly learn. You're going to have some bureaucrat saying, this is how you do it. OSHA, code, all this crap. They're going to bureaucratize the whole crap out of it. And then it's going to just fall apart in 10 years.
Yeah, if we had a free market, we would have had hydrogen-powered automobiles.
So many innovations.
A long time ago.
My fiance was talking about something like that the other day, and he was talking about all the things that, you see these the options that were in front of us, and you wonder, why didn't they get anywhere?
Yeah.
Well, that's why. That is
because
why.
Money kills a lot of things. The evilest people will always do two things. They'll steal the power and extract the resources for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm having troubles with my phone, so I'm going to bow out. And I appreciate you guys for putting this on. And we had a great convention, and I look forward to this campaign season coming up. If you're watching out there, help us get on the ballot. My website, kuchlendsformn.com, KUCHLENZFORMN.com. Sign the petition ballot, the pledge to gather signatures, or at least sign the petitions.
Absolutely.
And we need a lot of help coming up over the next 45 days, really.
And it's not really, it doesn't have to be that complicated.
Nope.
You have no idea how fast a person can get even 5 or 10 signatures. It just like that, just having a conversation at work and saying, I'm so sick and tired of not being able to know what the frack is going on with their funds. I'm so tired. Look at you talking with your buddies at work about your check, you're like, how am I getting taxed? What the heck is happening? You have a conversation, and then right there, everybody's chiming in. They hate the taxes. They hate what's going on. We don't understand. We're getting taxed up the butt, but we have no idea what's happening with it. And so that's where you start the conversation, and you can just literally right there at work, just pull that out and be like, hey, look, we don't know what's going on. At least let's have somebody on our side who will actually just show the information for us.
Or at least just get on the ballot to have the conversation, right? And just say, hey, look, if we can get 500 people to pledge to collect 10 signatures apiece, That's it. Like that's
I'm getting my guy
literally
10 signatures for sure. That's
That's-
already
yeah.
gonna happen.
that is
Yeah.
it.
So
500 people across a state.
we need 499 more.
Yeah.
That's
Well, we got
Signatures.
6.5 million
That's-
people in this state,
And-
right?
yeah.
If
We're
some-
not asking for a lot.
if you are inclined, or you think, wow, like I can get 5 of them, with my work group or whatever. We are going to be, I believe, making those forms available to download, or an actual official petition form.
Yes.
So you want to make sure you get the official correct petition form. But it's super easy. You can download it and print it out. However, but it's super easy. But you want to make sure you have the actual official document. And you just do that. That's it. You don't have to I got to go get a form or what. No. It's right there. It'll be downloadable. And
for more information, go to lpmn.org. And just something to think about. Something never in the history have we had a third-party auditor to hold accountable the two-party duopoly. And for the first time, we have somebody that is willing to go in and put the systems in place that scare the two-party system.
yeah, information
Let's
is scary.
send a
I see
message.
you.
Put Charlie in office,
Yes.
have him build the systems to put everything in place, and let's have some transparency so we don't have to see reports come out in 2026 that we're
Mhm.
reporting information.
Everybody say bye to Charlie.
Bye.
Yep.
These are serious issues, and they're serious transparency issues. When the government holds us accountable, we in turn have to hold them accountable.
Mhm.
Charlie's going in as an independent auditor to hold the government accountable. We should at least give him a listen, consider his ideas. Let's not think about the L and the whole only Democrats and Republicans can run this country or even this state. Well, my retort to that is look at the information that you've seen over the last year even. And
What do they want you to see?
rethink that thought.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, they can run it, sure, into the ground because we've seen how many billions in fraud alone in our own state.
Yeah.
Say we got a guy like Charlie sitting in office as state auditor. I'm pretty sure that fraud gets caught a lot sooner and never goes out the door. So something for you to think about there. You want to fight fraud, you put a guy like Charlie Kuglins in office, and that fraud goes away day one.
Well, and the thing is, too, is it's one of those positions that should not be a partisan issue. We want a ref who is not going to be who's not going to be a bought and paid for on the other party.
Yeah.
We want, especially with auditors, with Secretary of States. Now, we want those positions to be nonpartisan, or at least an independent thinker, right? What I admire about, or what we think about, like Rebecca, who's running for senator, and TJ, who's running for House, correct?
Mhm.
If you're thinking about those, and in those positions, that's where we can really drive home individual perspectives, or not individual, but representations of ideals and perspectives and things that we want to further. That is where that happens. Secretary of State, like Chip is running for, Chip is running for Secretary of State, and Charlie running for auditor. Those are those positions where we can have independent stability. We need stability. We don't need a ping pong. We need stability, and we need critical thinkers who are independent from a party. And these two men that have volunteered and taken up that
Well, what do you
that
think?
flag, yeah.
They are from a party, right? This
Yeah.
is the Libertarian Party.
Right.
This goes back to what I was saying before, is that relatively we are independent.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're not funded by anybody,
Right.
in particular. Anybody.
Yeah.
Pretty much not ourselves.
Self, yep,
So,
self.
We're grassroots.
A lot of times, back to the nerd stuff, when I work with binary things, if you don't have an argument winner, right?
Mhm.
If you only have two inputs, if they're both high or one's high, one's low, right? You don't know who wins the argument. And so that third input will help.
Yeah.
It's a little nerd thing that I think of a lot, where it's like, hey, our third party is the rational thinker. Or you know what else too? Once you get into this, and some of you guys probably already know this too, and maybe anybody that wants to look at this show. What we figured out is they're two birds with the same wing, right? The duopoly.
Yep.
They work
Yeah.
together, right? So they throw out this controlled opposition bullshit that they make us think that they're fighting with each other when
They're
the
not.
issues just go like this. They just go back and forth, and they want us to think that they're doing something good because, well, the pendulum swings. And all of our life we've been learned that the pendulum's going to swing back and forth. And we've watched it, right? But what we don't really see is what Scott was talking about, the neocons, these folks that actually, that's not the pendulum swinging. They're just walking over to this next side of the aisle and walk over to this next side of the aisle. Or they just have their cronies do this and that.
Wherever the funding is,
Absolutely, follow the incentives. It's always
follow the money. Like my fiance says, follow
That's
the
right.
money.
absolutely.
Once you follow the money, you see the game for what it actually is.
It's not always money though. Incentives are more than just
Power.
money. Power is a huge one.
Well, yeah,
Like, popularity.
power
Look at this Trump, man. He just wants to be popular. He thinks he wants people like him, but he wants to act like he doesn't care because he gets a good reaction from his base when he calls people names and does these things. And which, some of us laugh at that stuff, and I think it's hilarious a lot of times. My wife in particular hates that kind of stuff, and a lot of America is like,
Yeah.
there's no place, time for that. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna be soft-spoken if I'm ever elected politician, you know what I'm saying? Where I might put on the monkey suit and I'll wear or look the part, and I'll do my best to, know Robert's rules and things like that are important to that process. But man, I'm always gonna be me, and those Effenheimers will come out once in a while.
It's just what it is. And
Yeah.
You're not
we
gonna-
are First Amendment absolutists, and that's the reality. I mean, I may not agree with what people have to say all the time, but I agree with their right to say it.
Yes.
We have the right to know in the public forum what somebody has to say, so we have the right to figure out who we do not want to associate ourselves with because of what they have to say.
That's the only way we can. And it's that idea we're just talking about in convention, that being in association, it works both ways, and that is really how we understand who we want to be associated with. Is when when I would much rather be in association and be friends, teammates with someone when I know exactly what's on their mind and they're the same person that I'm, today as they are when they get into office. When he will be the same person at home, in office, and when he's working his food bank. He is the same person, and that is what we need. And but unless we're able, like Jason said, unless we're able to really have that speech and say what's on our minds, there's no way to know. And I would much rather know what's on someone's mind. Whether I agree with it or not, I would much rather know what's on their mind. And yeah, it doesn't have to be so binary just because you voted a certain way, because you feel that whatever way on an issue, right? That doesn't exclude you from being a part of my circle or the people that I want to associate or work with, or because we have to be able to work in the same, work downstream, or swim together wherever we can, and forward wherever we can, least resistance. And really, if we had those conversations, actually talk to each other, actually say what's on our mind with our glorious free speech that we have, we find where we are common. We find where we all want so much of the same thing. And honestly, you can
That's huge.
you can from there you can divert from there later on downstream if you need to. But if we are not swimming together where we can to get to that point, we're gonna eventually meet an impasse where we can't pass through.
One of the big areas that I've found where people find common ground is in morality. When you start talking about morality,
Children, war
of the issue, rather than talking about the 101 bullet points for idiots that the masses fight over, that it's just the controlled opposition back and forth. You're going to see the same conversation over and over all day, where it devolves into nothing but name calling. That's a waste of time. That's a distraction. And each side thinks they've won something. No, you've won nothing, because nothing was accomplished. What I find is when you have conversations with people over morality, you find that people have more common ground than they understood. Like for me, I'm with somebody that is a liberal, and she definitely is not a Trump fan. I'm okay with that, because morally speaking, we align very well. And I have no issue with her politics, or in a sense anybody else's, because it's not for me to decide. What I will say is, if you ever want to know what I believe, I'll tell you. And if you ask questions, absolutely cool about it. If you try to shove your politics down my throat, you're going to get a lesson. That's just how it is.
Well, hey, you guys, we're gonna wrap up Joey HR. He's already taken off. Actually, we're the only ones left in the building.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
We've got only a few more minutes that we've got to get out of this room, but I do want to kind of do a little recap of what happened this weekend, right? So we talked about Jake and Scott coming to speak. That was really nice. We did get a few things passed as far as some of the platform bylaws.
I think the biggest one to talk about is we now have the ability to move convention, so we're not stuck in the window that we used to be stuck in.
Sure. Also, dang it, we haven't talked about Toby one bit. Toby's running for mayor of Mankato.
Yes, that's
right.
Yeah. That's important.
Huge. We've got to talk about Toby.
Yes.
I never got his website. I don't know if he's got one yet, but mayor of Mankato, Toby's been making.
Mayor. I think mayor for Mankato. That's his website. I think it was something really. I'm like, how did he get that one? That was great. Something like that. Yeah.
Toby Leonard.
We'll link it up in the comments.
Down in Mankato, if you or anyone around here, man, that guy's phenomenal. He is one awesome human being that really, he lights up the room every time, and he's so knowledgeable, and he's so.
I was gonna say another informed citizenry.
Oh man, and it's so easy to talk to him. Man, he's always so friendly, and like I said, the knowledge, and I love that. I wish I could be as quick-witted as someone like him. You know, to just know what to say and when to say it, and when who he's talking to. So I feel real bad that we have not spoke about Toby. I don't have a thing. Producer guy didn't give me a thing to throw on the bottom of the screen for his website. So, but don't forget about Toby. He's another one of the candidates.
Toby Leonard.
Toby Leonard. Yeah, my battery is about to die too. I think we ran out of stuff. So I might actually die here real soon. What happened to this?
I don't know.
Never got plugged in.
Oh, well.
That moved in.
We've got a few amateur moves throughout the day, but
so anyways, the convention. So
but we're looking for that. And then if you are in the area or you know someone who lives in Mankato, let them know. That's the most powerful thing we can do. You know, word of mouth is the most powerful thing that we have working for us.
It's talking about Toby Leonard and his
to talk about.
Toby has been a resident of the area for a long time. He runs Mankato Guns. He's been a staple in that community for a number of years. Last cycle, he got 33% of the vote. He's well known enough, and I do believe that Toby has the knowledge and the courage to put a campaign together and win the mayor of Mankato. Toby's a natural born leader. He's got the charisma. He is positivity plus, and he has got a great moral code.
I was just going to say, that's my other thing too, is, one thing is knowledge, one thing is personality, but another one is integrity. And I think that's one of the things that I'm going to get a little emotional. I am super proud of everybody that is running, because, and that's why I'm willing to put my time, my skin in the game, because I'm so proud of our candidates. Guys, we talk about all, we can be nerds, we can be whatever about all the information in the world. But if we don't have integrity with our people, Rebecca, TJ, Chip, Charlie, Toby, they have the integrity to carry things out, to be able to be corrected, get the information, and then be corrected if they need to. Oh, I didn't know that thing, right? To be able to say, or I made an error. That's huge. So he has the integrity, and I'm so proud of all of our candidates because they do have the integrity. We say we're so tired of people who are corrupt. Then guess what? We actually have some good guys in the battle. Now, freaking go out there and support them. At least just share a dang website. Share a website. Share a video. Share, we're on freaking X all the time anyway.
Yeah.
We're on Facebook for the
Facebook,
boomers.
right? And we're wherever you are with your people, just sharing that out. It's one of the biggest things that we can do, especially right now. That's something that you can do in this very moment, is getting that information out to folks and backing up people who not only have the guts or have the desire to go out there, but also have the integrity to carry it out. Really.
Got it, Sarah. That was phenomenal.
Well said.
Right there. Really nothing much else that we didn't mention, other than maybe some of the voting stuff, and that's really not important. But
And also to recap, if you are interested, and remember that National is sitting in our
petitioning window.
Executive committee can appoint you through election.
If you want to go, it's in Michigan.
Yeah, it's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Mm-hmm. Reach out to Rebecca or to Joey or to Nick. Just have a conversation with them. They in private, just listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
I do believe that they have a really good conversation to have with you, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. It'll be a good time. We know that for sure, at least as well. It'll be a good time, but it'll be if someone doesn't necessarily have the time to go to every monthly meeting or go to whatever it may be, but you can hang for a few days and have a good time, and be able to be involved. That's a really good way to get a lot done in a few days. And just here's my impact.
Us moving, us being able to open our window of opportunity to schedule our convention and not have it locked in where it used to be, it is going to allow eventually National to change their time as well, which is a great thing, because it's an argument I made directly to Angela McCardle, the former chair, that we don't have enough time with our presidential candidates to run a proper campaign, to which she replied, I agree. And we need to get all 50 states on board to redo their bylaws to make sure that we can have their conventions sooner, so we can have national convention sooner, so we can do something like that. So with us redoing our bylaws to change that, we've effectively made the move towards that ultimate goal. And I am aware that other states are also doing the same thing, so that in practicality for National, as long as the candidate is worthy of our backing, we will back them.
Yeah.
All right,
at will association, right?
At
will association.
Wrap up.
Thanks for coming out, watching, and